So I'm getting set up here. It's Sunday afternoon. It's 12. I'm going to show right now my room and the camera facing me. Here's what's going on. Sorry for all the sweat. Sorry. Just got off. Just to start working out. But anyway, here's what's going on this morning. I was working out and I ended up having to call Santa Barbara because I had watched some ladies from Alabama A&M do a workout, not even a workout, they were in a parade. And so basically I called them to report issues. Sorry, I'm just, panning a little bit. But report issues with Meghan Markle with regards to what she was saying. Basically, I said to Brian, and he's in my ear all the time, because here's what's going on. We're transforming into a new type of, I guess, America, where we have the ability to hear one another, and many people for many years have been able to hear other people's conversations. And this this invasion of privacy has never been dealt with as an American society. And so with that being said, what really happened from there is it spread. And from the way I was told initially, I've had these for a while, on and off, since I was a kid. And I actually remember them going away after I fell off the bike. And when, the DLA talks about the fact that they had a plan with Jane Addams Martin, who called my aunt, who was actually her girlfriend for a couple of years, and told my aunt to tell John told my aunt to influence my mom to make me fall off the bike, is really what happened. So when I fell off the bike, my mom talked to me about before getting on the handles. And I guess, because something, I was maybe a smart kid or whatever, but not smart mouth, always with respect. And so when she purported or wanted to tell me to get on the handles, I remember saying to her, Mom, you think that's the best idea because, what if we fall or what if we get hurt? And then, so my aunt came in through these things in my ear, and her cousin named Eric Brown sent them to me from NASA. So I've had them even before 4 years old. But what they failed to tell me is that many people were using them to spy on each other. My sister has had them. I don't know how that worked out for her because she doesn't talk to me about it. And I don't appreciate it because this is some bull crap. And so let the record show that these things that are around or have been around even before I was a child, but I've had them even before I was an adult. I got them again. I have videos about what happened, but I got them again when I was 16, again in 1997. So 16 in 87, and then again when I was 27. And I do believe, I got some more at age 40, between 44 and 47. So I got them. So I've been getting them every 20 to 30 years. So that means there's a shelf life. And really what the other issue is that this stuff hasn't gone away. So anyway, I was able to talk to Brian. He's been using these things forever. We were stationed in New Mexico together, and it's bittersweet because he actually betrays me and tells me that when Pamela stole the cloud from me, he's known it and he worked with her on that. They also said that the 4 lines that I wrote, I knew that would actually explode out into thousands of lines of code, but I did not know how to study those. So, but anyway, he got with her and they worked together. He never told me he knew about it. So anyway, long story short, I was watching TV. Alabama A&M were on the TV and they were doing a performance, and it was very well orchestrated. And I said to Brian, you need to stop messing around with this and get, you got so many daughters. What are they doing? Are you teaching them how to dance or how to perform like the college fraternities that he's actually in one fraternity. And so I watched him one time and was inspired because he told me that many of the Ka Psi dances and Omega Psi dances come from from Africa. Florida is famous for the Omegas, so I guess he moved there to be around them. But the point of the matter is, Megan chimed in this morning, and I'm just floored because She already knows that CIA, well, she's using CIA, but they are not responsible, or tell her to be a little bit more, I didn't mean, it's not even corporately responsible. It's just responsible at all in her actions. So, I said to Brian, tell your kids and your grandkids to get with grandma, so she could get them on point to get them out there and performing. And so that would have been something that me and my kids could have done. But it's not something that has happened yet. Or something. I guess it doesn't even happen because the way they actually even teach that kind of stuff, you have to be in college. But anyway, she says to Daphne Neal, his ex-wife, the one I was saying his first wife was, she's been bribed and she knows what to do, because if she doesn't do what I tell her to do, I'm going to kill her. And then if the rest of the women get out and dance, I'm going to kill them too. And she actually has a problem with that. Because for the last year, I've not changed that much in weight, but I had to fast and push and do a lot of different things. Normally I wouldn't have to do, but they actually have been putting nuclear energy inside my stomach, which I've been trying to get rid of. So here's the thing. I called Santa Barbara to let them know that they need to be on top of her head and pull that technology to read what's going on with her and who's around her at all times, because this is ridiculous. I consider Brian's children like my son's family, because they are his children, and he's got more than a couple girls that my son knows, and then he's got a couple of sons that my son knows. They're his brothers. Like, who the hell would want somebody else's children to die? But really, ultimately what comes down to be is, nobody really thinks about that. And so I don't quite understand the quality of what is really going on. Here's the reason why. There's people who know how to act, and there's people who don't. And no one is responding, and everyone who responds, they are scared to death. So wouldn't it behoove someone to take care of that fear? Why be afraid of one woman? And then today, she even purports that she has a 9-inch penis somewhere in her back, which, nobody quite understands that. And so Pamela Toll said this morning that she was seduced by her, and that is the reason why she conjured up some military interagency purchase requisitions to buy CIA technology for this woman after she slept with her to come after me for her theft of the cloud, or her theft of my cloud, or what I wanted to do. And so, the first time I saw the cloud was with SoundCloud, I think, and then Apple rolled out in 2014. My son had it, and so I was in between trying to get my son on board with coming up with subscriptions as a service, which I actually came up with as a slogan for us to work on, for him to get paid per soundbite or per download. And then he told me that it was already being done by, who was that label, Rockaware or something like that, or no label. And so anyway, long story short, she actually puts together this MIPR to come after me, and then they do it on a worldwide scale. Everybody, there's only 7 million people who can hear this stuff. And none of it's not coming clear to me as to why it continues. So, I've got more than a couple people on my top, on my head, with regards to how they want to deal with this stuff. But to me, it's not making sense, because I'm to the point where, none of it makes sense. When I turn on the TV, I'm hearing from Harry, and he tells me he's been involved with Tel Aviv. He was involved with the Florida bombing. He was involved with the Haiti insurrection, him and Jim Scaparato. He also said something about Jamaica. And then he also said again, the 70,000 Haitians that came from Haiti with about 6 weeks ago, he sent them. Then he also said that the Guatemalans and the Colombians are the people he sent from South America, over 100 million people. I think maybe it was it's actually 500 million. And then 2 weeks later, I'm hearing from Joe Biden We're going to pay $500,000 to the quote unquote Mexicans who's lost children. But where is all these? Where's all this documentation, and how is it being published in the paper with these children, in the situation being lost and found? Now, and on one aspect, there were a lot of things I wanted to do, but I did not want to do it illegally. So everything that I wanted after I graduated from college 5 years ago, Harry has actually had something to do with, but then to an extent, it all came out to be criminal. So the legacy that on one hand, everything that I thought of, everything I wanted to do, even when I had to run from them to keep food on my table, he has turned into a negative feat. So I wanted to help South America. I wanted to help the Mantiqueros or the Majordomos. I wanted to get rid of the problem with NAFTA, CAFTA, MEFTA. I wanted to get rid of the problem with MECTA and then CAFTA again. What CAFTA is China. CAFTA was involved with NAFTA and MEFTA, or there's a smuggle of parts. So after all this came to be, not that I didn't see it, but after all this came to be an issue 12 years later, I'm still dealing with people who, for whatever reason, create the crime, and then somebody's going behind them like it's a life-saving method, and it's really not. How is crime, or how is being criminal, the order of the day? It's really the issue. When there's a lot of people out there who have more bona fide work and bona fide needs. See, here overall is just this, Joe Biden, because I'm just going to direct it to you to get to what I want to say. When you have bona fide needs and there is a contract or a program, every year the money is set aside or is reappropriated, and you go to Congress twice a year with the bullshit ass schemes when nobody really knows or probably even gives a shit. And so, maybe I shouldn't say that, because there's a process involved that you're not getting. That appropriations or apportionment that happens, or reprogramming that happens by Congress, you're actually taking them out of the loop when you keep doing what you're doing. Because there will be no congressman who will be able to get through the muck and mire out of all the situations that everything would have to be escalated to, actually, escalated to the special summits, but the whole point of the matter is nothing will get done. So, honestly, all this rests with you. You continue to let these people to do this, and here's where I'm going with this. All right, so about 12 o'clock, about 20 minutes ago, I was in the other room working out. He told Meghan Markle, and Pamela Toll, why haven't you killed her yet? Or something to the point where, if I was trying to, I think he heard him say this, but if I was trying to get it done, it would be done by now. Then someone rode around across, my block or by my block and said, well, if the real Illuminati was around, this wouldn't be happening. And then someone said, well, what's the scheme here? And so here's a problem. I told him, he was like, well, this can't be the fact where people have been dying. And I told him there are 19 veterans that turned up dead after he actually came to Pennsylvania, more times than not. He comes here a lot. 19 who turned up in middle Pennsylvania dead. And then 4 more after that. So, 20, 23. And the way, Harry says, is that he had something to do with that. They were using the CIA to kill these people, and so they know it kills people. And I'm not involved with that part of it. I'm really not. But what I am saying is that I am tired of being used for a segue for crime. I am, and I'm not going anywhere. So if there's crime around me, there's crime around me. Crime around me. I get it. But if the president knows about that and doesn't shut that down, that just says a lot. So, but you know what? It really doesn't start or end there. It doesn't stop or end there. And when I was talking to Pamela Toll in August about her mannerisms to have someone come into my house and steal my documents, as they've been stealing before. They stole my research on brainwave technology and theft of ideals from MIT. They stole that. They stole Postgordorp, or the planning, operation, staffing, resource, budgeting, and whatever the other O is, or maybe observation and budgeting or something like that. They stole that research from me. I think they stole a few more things, maybe like as far as my college is concerned. They actually came in and made a copy of my hard drive. David Chatham said that he did that. He lives somewhere in Delaware County, and 4 of the other interns who raped my kids also live here, who confessed to raping them too. And so with all this stuff, with all these government employees doing and saying all they do, they're thinking that they'll bring me into this and continue to, quote, have me involved with them to an extent where sexual, when I don't want anything to do with them. So, the president knows that I have a nomination. I will be seeking nomination, but I'm seeking candidacy, and I'm doing it in a different way. I have actually already worked on a platform for almost the last, I've been campaigning since I was in the military. So there's just no difference. So it really doesn't even matter if I am elected or not. But there is certainly a lot that needs to be talked about and addressed. I'm not trying to win Meghan Markle's, approval, or Pam or anything like that. That doesn't, that's not really what I'm looking for. I mean, for whoever else works for someone else's approval, go ahead and find them. But as far as I'm concerned, those 2 people have wronged me all my life, and Pam confesses to even having her bred as a light-skinned woman to beat me out intentionally, having her do what she does and meet up with Harry after in 77. And his his kingdom let him know that he is named Harry because of me, because of the name, but it also comes out to be certain other things, to include the fact that I also heard from Charles, who said that he was pissed off because I tried to defend my mom. At 5 years old, I picked up a shotgun, and told him, you have to leave because you can't be here, because I don't want you to hurt my mom. And my dad wasn't there, and so he said because of that, he came up with this, some parts of this scheme. It was also addressed this morning that Camilla uses certain things. I guess for the lack of understanding, there's other things about this Satanism that these people use. And Camilla said that she influences her stepson, Harry, to go after America because she's trying to steal the duchy. The duchy's already been stolen. The Duchy of Cornwall was already stolen and given to Harry. 3/4 of that is used, almost like $75 million a year. And then she's trying to come here and steal money from America. Also, I found this morning that she influences Camilla, and Camilla looks sick now, and Biden does not look the same. I don't quite understand why this man knows I am talking to him for his livelihood. And I just told him, I said, sir, as long as I'm alive, you're alive. And I said, I will actually go out of my way to actually make sure you know everything that needs to be known to keep you safe. And as long as you're safe, I'm safe. But in a slight flip of the hand or flip of the conversation, he said that, he wanted me dead. But when I look at him on the camera and just look this morning, Camilla is pale. My daughter is pale. And it's not due to the change of season right away, but it's some illness that's going on other than corona. You know what? I am really sick of dealing with this. And then there's so much you can do in life just to face all these things. But really, I don't just do it for me. They're little kids, I don't know, maybe it's because I was one. But who doesn't give a shit about children? I used to be one. Many kids aspire to do something better with their lives, and then they block this crap out. and I sit at the high school and they hear what's going on. And I watch them and I know they hear. But, they might as well take the buyout too. Really, honestly, in order for someone to quite understand and really maybe what we should do, because everything is going to the left. Our airspace has been challenged. Our radio space or radio frequencies have been challenged. Our internet and satellite has been challenged. So policing is challenged too. So you know what? Since everything is hunky-dory and everything's fine, and when you call the police, nobody really gets involved because they know that these are eras or are situations of mass destruction, and no one gets involved or call the National Guard to say, look, what the hell are we going to do with this? Nobody's calling. So here's what I suggest. If everybody takes a buyout, and Jane Adams Martin run around here like the fucking Irish leprechaun, laying out this pots of gold, then you know what? Here's what I gotta say. I can't do this alone, but you know what? Bribe the heck out of her. I don't know. However you do it, because everybody wants everybody wants money. Nobody is stepping up for justice here. The buyout is either molesting children or straight up molesting children because you got the segue to get in to get somebody to get money, and you're white to get it, because African Americans really are not getting this money. So I don't know. Look, solicit your teachers. Get money. Because really, when it comes down to it, nobody really gives a crap about the election situation because it's a joke. Because our safeties have been challenged for the last 50 years, and no one, I didn't know it. So the only reason why it comes to be something that I'm dealing with is because I'm hearing from too many people, quote unquote, with too much brass to actually have a life. And then the other part was this morning, we were jealous because she had a project management degree and that she would do something in her life. It's really, again, everything. It could have been the fact that I cooked a rump roast last night or went skating or had shrimp or married a white man or actually had a child with Brian South. Everything that I've done, these people seem to have a fucking problem with. And I don't really quite understand that. Because there's people out there who do the same thing that I do. No more, no different. This is really pathetic. Because I'm bearing the brunt of this. I'm getting hurt. I've been shot. I've been shot. They've been doing things to me all my life. And, I hate to even say, that I would only be humble to the fact that I would never say a word if they just leave me the fuck alone. Because the only reason why I'm going after a bid for presidency is to save my life. And I've got to do it the most litigious way or that I can possibly do it. Because these people who are harming me, sometimes they go and they go and, ebb and flow. But even, I'm kind of sketchy with what I'm doing because it's all over the place. Because even Richard said last night that the only reason why they turn up the satellites and the wiretapping, which is all connected with state-sponsored radio, which when I Google it, it doesn't show up. But the U.S. district courts have a court order since 1968. Richard said he's the reason why that happened after he talked to, I guess it would have to have been either Richard Nixon, but he was actually overseas stealing, from the Army. Stealing stuff, or he doesn't tell me what type of cargo, but stealing cargo from, in Vietnam, deep in the Cong, and people were getting killed more people who in Vietnam, died in Vietnam than all the wars to that point. But this is Richard Ellis involved. So at that time, Richard would have been around 28 or 29, let's just say 28, 29, but he said also that he was a teacher as well. And then he went into the Navy. So that would be, he'd been 30 years when I met him was 35. So he probably was a new commander. I think he probably was either a captain or a major in 88. So even before that, 20 years before that, he was already betraying America. And then he says that, I don't know how to put it, but I guess he didn't say if he used RFID, but, anyway. But RFID is how he did it, because they found out in 42 they were doing it too. So, my question was, like, if you already knew something, then why use it? Why do it again? So they set the army up. He set the army up to get him killed. More army people on foot died. They did it again in OEF, OIF, thanks to James Cuneo. So here's how Ellis goes. He tells me they didn't turn up the radio or the frequency, which normally ranges between like 3,300 and 6,000, maybe gigawatts, I think, or megahertz or something like that. I really don't know how that goes with radios or satellites. So anyway, he says that the reason why they're doing it is because of Michael Zabel. And the only reason why they did it was because of him. But then they decided that when he took election or ran for office in 2016, that he would replace our recent state representative, but he bought his candidacy. Zabel bought the candidacy, is how Richard says it. And so even with that being said, he says that he sent him here from Montgomery County after me. And for whatever part, when they talked about this before, there was problems in Montgomery County, where I used to live, along Route 113, with the school district, and that my sister got involved, and my old insurance agent, who all know Pam Tall, who were all Klan at the time, or around that time, or something like that, or did some things with the Klan. And so Pam had set my sister up to have to run after them. And at the time, her husband was doing stuff, she was married to a guy, and her, Pam got involved with this guy to have him run after the Klan, and then my sister got involved, and then the kids got involved, and then all that during the time, Harry was still involved. So he was actually doing something to cause the rebel rousing between the Klan and the regular white people in Montgomery County. So, if you look back historically about, the police hear about it. They know about it. And really? That's why you have Fusion. That's why you have Kalia. That's why even before I knew about the court order from the U.S. District Courts, you already had surveillance. How does it fail? How? Because of the fact that I was doing my homework. I had to, I don't. But what he did, I guess he dealt, as far as how the government, evolved, everything. I can't say that's based on the fact that he was going after everything I knew, but he was certainly trying to shut me down every step of the way. And that has happened all his life, leaving a gap of about 13 years. So when I was, I guess it started happening to me when he was, so 13 years would make it, he was 1 year 13, and then he was 2 or 3, 2 when I was 15, and he alleges that he's been in my apartment when I used to live in Philadelphia when he was 3 years old. And so, there's just too many things that they're lying about, allows him to lie. And so really, honestly, just to cap this one off and to say, what I think is the fact that they allow him too many criminal actions along with Meghan Markle, and for whatever reason, they just don't handle it properly. And I don't see why they are allowed to do that. And honestly, I really don't even want to keep talking about them. If you can't fix something, then what the fuck is the whole reason to keep talking about it? And, honestly, and here's the thing. When they hear Joe Biden say that he wants to kill me, will they, all day long spend, finding some ways to, burn me? And here's the thing. And here's the other thing. Like, he said to me, and he always says this, and this is his issue. June 2020, when he was on the trail, he popped up out of nowhere in Vermont and said, look, I need you to meet me in Vermont. I need you to have sex with me. And I'm like, sir, I don't know, is that code word for just campaigning? Because I really don't know. And I mean, honestly, I'd rather not know about all these things because it's, it's almost like, who are you to ask someone like that, and you're married, and then I don't know, I don't see the commonality there. I just don't. So anyway, come to Vermont twice, maybe 3 times. Come to Vermont, have sex with me, and I'm like, well, I need a formal invitation just to come up there and pull the bluff, really to find out what's going on. But he said that he didn't mean it. It wasn't a bluff. He meant what he said. It's also been relayed that he raped me in '92, along with Richard Ellis and Donald Trump. And I never knew that either. But also it came out that Richard Ellis raped me in '88 before I even joined the Army, in a hotel room. And there were like 30 people, if I could remember, because somehow I get clairvoyance or clairaudience somehow. I'll think of something and I can hear it. And I think, upwards of about 20 to 30 people in the room, and they're kind of saying that Edward Ante was around. And so, he was arguing with them and told them, like, why would you want to do this to her? And so, anyway, those names keep coming up about rape and all this stuff. Harry says the same thing, 1990. So, anyway, Joe Biden's like, come here and stuff. I'm like, all right, send me an invitation. I'll get on your campaign. I'm a double major. I do believe I can add some value to the campaign. That wasn't what he wanted to hear. Then 3 months later, I left to go, still he was on the campaign trail. I left to go to Wilmington, Delaware, just to get away from all this stupid stuff, just to be in a different environment. I couldn't, he asked me this morning, why aren't you having sex? I said, well, you need to ask Harry Windsor why I'm not having sex, because when there are at least 5 men in a hotel who actually look interested, the one who I actually went after, they actually gave him $50 billion, $5 billion to not talk to me, for him not to press charges against him. But I think they actually did press charges. CSX, and I can't remember the guy's name, but his name is Chris. And Chris said, and the way they said it, I'm going to have to double check, but Chris said he knows me, and he moved from Royersford, or moved from Montgomery County to Baltimore to get away, and he's on a road crew, and that he never wanted to be involved in Pennsylvania at all. So he was interested in talking to me, but then Harry Windsor said, well, he showed up and had sex with this man and gave him $5 billion to not go after Harry Windsor for racism. Because, even if me and that guy just had, I don't know, a kumquat or a freaking cup of coffee together, it wasn't Harry Windsor's business. And Harry Windsor decided that he was all out jealous to the point where he would actually transfer methyl-ethane, I think it was methyl-ethane in the back of that cruiser, or not cruiser, tanker, or propane, benzate or something like that. I can't remember. Put it on my pillow. I just relaxed my hair, put it on my pillow. The middle of my hair started falling out right away. Between losing hair and knowing that they hurt me, and trying to get some comfort, I had to resolve to knowing that I'm here, but I'm also dealing with some racism of a different situation, that I know death will happen somehow with these people, either somehow naturally or somehow they cause it. That I won't escape, because these people they don't stop. So if I'm in Delaware and I'm minding my own business, and I have to go through the fact that I'm actually having 3rd-degree burns in my scalp, and then Biden came in and burned me with the same chemical, because I can smell it, and you can taste it. He's burning my back, gave me 3rd-degree burns. I just had 3rd-degree burns May, June, and then turn around in September, I'm getting 3rd-degree burns again. After I called the Department of Justice for a witness protection program, because seeing what was going on, no one was helping me. So I'm hearing from the candidate, or the incumbent, that's right, no, they're not the incumbent, the challenger for candidacy, that he's burning me. And they're doing things in my spine. They were actually ripping out some parts of my anus, Like if I had to defecate, I would lose it all over the place. They make me constipated, so I don't. I mean, it goes between one or the other. Somebody's doing something to my intestines. So either way, either I lose it, I'm in depends. I don't, I'm in depends, or I'm having some problems or difficulty that age would not say or suggest I should. That is why I'm not having sex. And the other thing is, if I did have sex, you'd be sending someone to kill me with AIDS or anaphylopathy or some benzate or some ammonia phosphate or whatever you put in these men's diet to cause them to kill me. And I heard it again yesterday that men actually, maybe it was this. Men actually are having sex with other people and contracting pneumonia or there's some liquid form of pneumonia which I ran across before. Some kind of chemical causes pneumonia off of the bat, and I think it's near like sulfur or sulfur phosphate or something like that. These men actually take this shit and have sex with people to kill them. That's why I'm not having sex. So when I met someone that could have been cool with me, this person knows my child. He's like 30 years old or something like that. He graduated from the same high school. When, or someone that could have been my friend or whatever the case may be, or help me get through this bullshit. Or maybe I could have relocated to Baltimore or whatever the case may be. Somebody was looking out for me. And you all stepped into it. And whatever the case may be, I'm saying that because I don't know, but somehow people stand up for each other or they do things to help each other. You know what? That road crew, or someone said on that road crew, they actually came intentionally to that hotel because I was there. And they said they were trying to keep that bullshit out of Baltimore because they actually had and Baltimore has become one of the best cities until they killed that guy in that paddy wagon like 6 years ago. I can't remember his name, Taylor or something like that. See, there's more people who want good than bad. And the last thing I'm going to say about this, how can this not be absence or loss of scruples or maybe Alzheimer's or something like that? Because Meghan Markle gives me her Alzheimer's or some form of it or some derivative of that. These people are challenged to the point that they don't understand what is going on. And I am not the only sane person. Like in high school, I guess I could have been, I was number 69 or 169 in my class of 1,000. So I'm right at a B or C average. How can a B or C average person, and went to school and didn't do the GMA or any of that stuff. I can't test very well, but I can do things, without test. But the point of the matter is, how can one person from Philadelphia, who was in the Army, who's lived out in the counties, so my children can get a quality education, can't get that, because the quality education has been rotted because of Richard Ellis and James Cuneo, who caused problems in these freaking counties. I couldn't even go to work. My sister derailed my campaign, quote unquote, for Walmart. And 4 months I worked there. I can't keep your kids, like I said. But I told you I was going to put you out if you didn't get a job. She knows about all this crazy shit too. I mean, really, when it comes down to it. So the point of this, how can someone with so much on her plate know what's going on and everybody else vacates responsibility, accountability, admirability, or any of those things just to say we're on a vacation because we all want sex with Meghan Markle, who has a penis? That's just a question. And then the other thing is, which I'll be working on today, is the fact that since we're all on the radio and we can all hear each other and nobody thinks that is fraud or any case, I am going to put in my license, and I'm going to tell the kids, put in your license for a radio, because you know what, as long as you got a computer, you know what, you might as well get on the radio, because I am sick of this. If I'm watching, I'll just say Florida A&M, it don't even matter, A&M or any HBCU do what they do, and I'm proud of them, and someone says to me, because I'm a racist, you should not be proud. Here's what I said. Continue to do what you do, because I see the sincerity in your faces. All of you are upset. And damn where you should be. I don't even care if you're white. you should be upset. This is not an issue about race. This is an issue about this freaking nation. As long as they've stolen, I don't care if it was they even stole freaking bubble gum from me. So even if it's bubble gum, and they stole it from a black person and kept doing it, and now it's like coming back on everybody, and no one's doing anything about it. Well, it tells you that as many people who could buy bubble gum from the government, whoever the sponsor was who stole it from me, that means that it impacted you when you went to buy it, that impacted you when someone packaged it, that impacted you when someone actually bought the facility to manufacture the gum. And when they shipped it overseas, it actually impacted manpower. So anyway, if you think this is about race, it's not. Everybody should be sincere. And for the most part, the African in this country, or even around this world, knows about the quality of life to the point where he or she knows that we should not be treated this way, that we should take care of one another. And a lot of these things, comes from the Bible. Many people maybe, like it matters to certain people. That is something that should be always kept in conversation. But it also matters to the point where if we don't care for one another, no matter the color, then we're screwed. Because we've got Harry Windsor, who will never be other than English, who's telling us every day. He told Biden to his face like 2 weeks ago, I am here to take all your money and your patentable information and your patents from you. Now, nigga, what? That's what the fuck he said. Nigga, what? He said what? So I'm just adding a nigga. Because the fuck he didn't give a shit. He was talking to Joe Biden and said he was taking the shit. What? He called you out. You ain't gonna do nothing about it. Obviously not, because I don't know why. I just don't. I can't. That's between you. But he said that shit through my ears and you heard it. So anyway, because the fact that the FCC says they're looking for diversity, which, I'll have to see on how that goes, is because everybody can have a radio. So let me just set a screen up because I think they're on my phone. When I say they, so Secret Service would have accessibility to me because of the fact that I asked them to be, but they also in the background to the point where they could turn on me at any point. So, it is what it is. But the point of the matter is, they're on my phone right now, and like some things have been jamming up. Also, James Radcliffe is Klan and is one of those clandestine. I say Secret Service, CIA, and FBI is clandestine because they do a lot of surveillance behind the scene. So there's nothing, there's nothing different between the three of them. Really, it's not. It's just, spreading of that agency or the need to surveil or have surveillance against, against anyone or on someone. And so with that being said, he's one of them. I've asked over and over, who is this man who has access to D-Lab technology, who listens to everybody's conversation, and no one's really up in arms about it. But they're thinking, as long as you're going after the N-word, it's just about, oh, she's black and, she's not cute as Meghan Markle. She ain't got no penis like Meghan Markle or Mr. Markle. She ain't rolling with Sean Baggett, who, betrayed me as his supply sergeant, who has sex with Meghan Markle, who lets him use the International Space Station. All this, they followed me to Oklahoma or followed me to, where I was at, all over the freaking place. So now I know they've been following me, and I know, who's been allowing this crap. Like, when is it going to stop? So Secret Service will be on my phone, to do God knows what. When I ask them to, help me do some things, nothing. I'm probably just going to have to do a couple things myself, and I will continue. Because I gotta roll with it, right? I'm going to Congress, to put my bid in officially as the candidate for presidency, even though I'm having to go through subpoenas right now, and I'm going to deal with it because I am not going to. I'm either going to fight for my life, or I'm not going to give it to somebody to take. I mean, it's one thing when you're burned or you're being chemically, burned or now it's not, it's not a form of manipulation, but it's a form of sacking someone to the point where their resolve would be. Let me move this because it's kind of like goofy. Sacking someone to the point where they have no resolve. I'm not doing that. But here's why, and I'm going to move this to my normal position. Excuse me. All right. Sorry. But sacking someone to the point where they have no resolve, and I'm not going out. Why? Because England's involved, and I'm pissed off. We had the American Revolution. It's over, right? And so I'm hearing there's cruisers in the air, and there are other things that's going on with these people. I couldn't get some intel. I don't even know how to get it. So excuse me one second. This is bothering me. I don't even know how to get the intel as to who was flying over Mercy Fitzgerald. I want somebody to try to pull it. But, Mercy Fitzgerald, it was January 18th, I believe, at around 11:12 at night. And the reason why I do what I do, it involves like telling somebody about what's been going on, is because this person is not American. I mean, he may have stayed here. He may, has patterns of living here off and on, or to the point where I guess he lived in Toronto more than anything. But who knows? I don't care. I mean, I never really gave a crap. And the only reason why I care is because he told me these things. So why am I not to tell someone else what happened? And the whole time, these people were like, oh, he's trying to kill LaGale Brown because Pamela Tall's his best friend, and they stole the cloud, and we need to put her ass. They did everything they could to kill me. I mean, it wasn't easy. I mean, yeah, there was blood. I did leak. Things were missing that they talk. But I vowed in this one thing that I'll always stand in this thing for God. It's really, and this is before it even happened, I vowed that I would never turn my back on what God has for either America or this world or diversity or any of those things that not had anything to do with Martin Luther King or growing up being a militant. It's not that. It's, if you see this right here, you see this emblem right here, and if I had the flag, it would be right behind me. Those things matter to me. There are people who have come before me, white, black, purple, Chinese, yellow, brown. I don't even care. Well, I would say cubic color, because it don't even matter. The point of the matter is they come before me for a reason. Not for me to hand this back to someone who don't give a crap. They don't care about America. Don't you get it? So anyway, I'm going to see if I can get me a radio. Again, I also was actually trying to get a podcast with Anchor, which, I told him straight up. They gave him my credentials to Harry Windsor. Harry needs to pay me for my podcast. So, really, the real issue here, Charles, is this. Joe Biden, against better judgment, wants me dead. I'm just not understanding as to why that is. And the reason why it has something to do with your daughter-in-law, your son-in-law, and your son is because she threatened someone when I was working out. And, it's not even about Meghan Markle, but it's about people who want to live in this country. And don't you get it? But you don't quite understand it. You program these people to be evil against America, and nobody's taking a hint or understanding as to what that means. And nobody's giving me there's no one's telling me otherwise. There's too many people, and actually I probably should go outside the best way I possibly can. If I had a freaking professional camera, which I probably should have by now, to take a freaking interview about what's going on, about what these people think. You know what? I've already said that. Since June 28th, let it be known that if we go to war is what this country wants. But what she's doing isn't war. That's what you call war. Oh, call Meghan Markle up. You want somebody dead? She already killed 5,000 plus people anyway. We ain't got enough people to go to war. Call that heifer, that bastard up, and he'll kill somebody for you. That's pretty much all that's going on, Marianne. Nobody's going to war. I mean, as far as she's concerned, as long as you allow him to use the International Space Station, nobody's going. So, whatever. All I know is I wanted all the things that had something to do with me handled and taken care of before you even thought about calling it war. Because when it comes to something that's supposed to come to me or owned by me, well, it's basically not worth going to war for, to hide it to the point where you're saying that you're going to war for me, which you're not. And then this is of our own doing. The people who allowed it is Richard Ellis, Michael Zabel, Pamela Tall, those people. So anyway, I don't know if I can do this. Maybe I'll have to just pull up my bootstraps and just go out there and see if people will talk to me. But I'm going to see if I can get me a radio license or something like that. And I should have already had a podcast by now. I've been doing videos since April. I do not, and this I'll quote, do not want to develop some type of platform where, I'm not saying that I want to do this for free. I'm not. But I'm trying to do something where it's more along my cause about what it is I want to do, and not so much reacting to, adding or feeding into what Harry is doing, because I think he's very immature. So anyway, I'm on the broadcast radio incubator, and it says designed to support new and diverse entrants in the radio broadcasting industry by encouraging large, experienced broadcasters to assist small, aspiring, or struggling broadcasters that otherwise lack the financial or operational expertise necessary to own and operate a full-service radio station. And so I just need the application. I don't really need to know all that. And so a sort by radio viewing or recording slide information. So the webinar is here. So I guess it's a tutorial. Let me just get through the tutorial right quick. See if I can scan right through it and see if it's something I can do. Because, as long as if there's somebody spying on someone, I guess I'm going to talk about it. They say this is Illuminati. No, it's not. So I can apply here. There's some information that I can use to apply. I see that I have to own 3 radio stations. I guess I'll be on all the time, which would be okay. And again, I should have been doing a podcast, and that would have been subscription based. Also, I know right now I am probably being listened to, and so somehow I'm going to have to get a subscription based on the people who are on my computer. And so if I could turn around and do CRM, and I'm on the net. Oh, that's the network. Okay, the network. There are 60 total bits per second. I don't know what that means. So when I look at it, B per second, and sometimes it drops. I just dropped like 6,000. I'll let you talk amongst yourself. Tell me what you're going to do. I need you to vacate. bits per second. Um, so it says which programs are hogging the CPU. I do see like IP addresses. So I'm going to have to just break down this report so I can understand what it means. It says, what does it do? It's a utility in Windows Vista and later displays information about the use of hardware, memory disk, and network and software. You know what I could probably do is just sit out on the corner and like I did say I was, and like maybe someone called me on it. I just haven't been out there. Um, is to try to find these people. So, um, but then the bits per second decreased. I mean, over like 300%. I'm down to 54 from like 30,000, and I haven't even had to check the processes with network activity. And so anyway, I'm going to see if I can go after small compliance guide broadcasting service rules, or I did do I did apply for other things. Hopefully certain things come to fruition. I'm also doing a lot of work, which reminds me, I got some other things to do as well. So anyway, once I get a couple things done, I'll be, working on other things. But I've actually been busy, and also when I was talking about dancing with the kids, or dancing with, a younger generation like myself, because honestly, right? I mean, I'm not saying I'm trying to stay young. It's not that, but okay, maybe I am. But just because I'm older a little bit doesn't mean I have to slow down or I have to change who I am. I can be who I am and celebrate that. But there's also other people who do things that I like to do, and I celebrate with the youth who are about getting something accomplished, or who are securing themselves and they want to make a difference in this world. And so I salute them. No matter, I was just working out with someone from France. I was working out, or singing BTS this morning, and then I came across that video. Um, and excuse me, I came across that video, and I was inspired, and because I've never, I mean, well, this drum line, they probably are, they probably are actually pretty serious. I've just never noticed how serious they looked. I just take it very offensively, um, that she was, he would actually say these things, knowing that, he does not care about African people, and what we go through. And then also, The fact that he always, when he says something about someone getting hurt, it always happens. And so I called Santa Barbara, and they said that, county would be able to take care of them. And I think, it actually routed my phone call to an extension. Oh, I get it. I get it. Everywhere I call is that. So anyway, I'm going to get off. I mean, I think I'm cool now, but I got a couple things to do. I always find myself finding a way to defend myself. It's not even defend myself. I think in order for you to feel like you're defending yourself, you have to have a reason to. It's not that. It's not. It's actually protecting my life, or protecting what belongs to me, which I've never seen it in my life that there's been one or several, well, there's actually 7 or 8 agencies who betrayed one person, and then they continue to do it, and it's almost like it's okay. And so, and maybe there's a lot of ways I'm missing something. Like, I mean, not saying the glass is half empty, it's certainly half full, no matter what. But like, Harry's being, he's actually able to address certain things about the 30 movies that he sold for me. And actually Brave is one of them. And then the other one that came up that I didn't remember was, no, I don't think it was that. But he's like, yeah, that one too. Milan. I think Milan, because like, I talked about the fact that when I was, in Oklahoma, because I can only be who I am. And I looked in the mirror and, I was thinking to myself, like, I've never met someone who ever cared about me to the point where it was obvious or I didn't have to work for it. And like, I after 30 or around 27 years old, I stopped working for it. Because if someone likes you, they do. And you'll know that. And I said in the mirror, who's that girl I see staring back straight at me? When will my reflection show who I am inside? And then I probably cried and thought, no matter how I tried, I think the words came out, no matter how I tried, deep inside, no one knows who I am, but who am I to defend? Because I know who I am. Or something to that effect. Also, Oceans come out, I in Oklahoma, I said to myself, when I went to the quarry, something about feet carry me carefully on this quarry. It's slippery, and I just don't know if I fall, it's not going to be great, but it's almost like spirit lead me where trust is not without borders. I didn't say trust without borders, but I said spirit lead me, carry me where the water is deep or something that way, or bless me or bless my feet where the water is deep. But then it goes, spirit lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk on the waters wherever you would call me. That part is mine. Wherever you would call me. Take me deeper where my feet. I have to get the lyrics. But anyway, I keep forgetting the lyrics because what happened is there's been so many things taken from me that there's sorrow and it's deep. They keep doing this. And I'm sick of it. And so honestly, Pam, like, oh, there's so much culture here. I'm like, there's really not much culturally different from me than any other person. Other than the fact that she knows that she's hurt me or allowed this or know the person who has. But you know what? Something actually kind of came out, like, really, and honestly, oh, here it is. And they keep going back and forth about it. This is between the fact that England got caught doing what they do. And they gotten caught, but Richard Ellis has always known. And so he started working at DLA. She found out about what he's been doing. Then she stole from me. No, that's not true. Uh, she's been stealing from me since 1978, 1975. They actually came up with a document I'm hearing somewhere in court to release me to Philadelphia. They took my social security number and they've been making movies about my life or books about me, and they actually have had my educational records hand carried to Pennsylvania somewhere to take my information and resell it. And they've been doing it since the number was 5 years old. That's it. Richard said that he's been doing this against my family because he's been using radios all his life, and that I don't know how. I mean, there's got to be other people that I don't know that do things that would be. But why would you want even to do that? There's just no justification in that. I don't war or not. This is not good. This is not good. And I'm sick of it. I'm not Congress. I can't be everything all anywhere at any place. But really, excuse me for the adjustment. But I'm going to have to make some changes. Because I'm hearing the news anchors and all this, and maybe the eclectic videos on YouTube probably would say that people do realize what's going on. But I don't know. Maybe other people in their campaign would be a little bit different. So I just have to start watching. But also you have to understand, what you have here is a work in progress. I'm missing, I'm still missing the hair. This is the back. I cut my hair in the back. I cut about 8-10 inches off of what was left. I'm in a state of flux until I figure out what's going on. Stop putting the asphalt on me, or the mesothelioma between the fucking drywall, please. Can you stop? So anyway, I'm in a state of flux right now because I'm trying to be who I am. I'm also trying to relax, but I'm very serious about what's going on. So, it's really never been about looks with me. But I can be beautiful, when I work at it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Anyway, I'm out. That last part, disregard. And I'm at an hour. All right. I'm out of here.